Hey there, everybody, and welcome back. This is one of the next videos in my Codeless application development series or just kind of general playlist. So this video is going to be covering AppInstitute. So at this point, you've probably been doing a little bit of searching. This is something that's probably come up on your list. So if you aren't aware of where you are in the series and you just kind of landed on this video by accident, check out the playlist this is associated with. You can kind of see I'm doing reviews of a ton of different codeless application development software, kind of opening up the comments to you to basically recommend if there's a software that you want to learn more about or a codeless app platform, then drop it in the comment box below. I'm more than happy to start doing additional videos on that, answer any questions, and also answer any questions about AppInstitute that you may have. So we'll run through this together. So basically, we are at the AppInstitute homepage. I will go ahead and drop a link to this in the comment box or in the description below. While you're there, you can hit that like button and subscribe also. Definitely helps me out. Now, we'll go ahead and jump straight in. So AppInstitute homepage. Now, before we build the app, we'll check out the pricing. Wouldn't think it'd be a great review without that. So you have, just like every other platform, it defaults to 1 year. I'll start it monthly to make sure we're being super transparent. So you have basic, progressive web app, pro, pro plus, reseller. Underneath, you see everything that's included. So the lowest tier, you get customer management, custom domain. So basically a website URL, instant updates, which to be honest, almost every platform has. So I almost disregard this. It just seems like a way to add in a bullet point, just personal opinion. Secure URL, you all can kind of read the rest. You kind of get what's there. Now, the Pro plan is what really stands out because this is what most people want. So Google Play App Store app and then Apple App Store app. Obviously, the App Store optimization is big, but a lot of that you can kind of learn on your own. It's the development part that kind of brings us to this video. So you have App Store review and submission service. These are key if you don't really know what you're doing. Honestly, the Google Play Store is relatively easy to kind of fumble your way through and get an app published. The Apple App Store, not so easy. Still doable, but you at least have people that can help you out with it. Geolocation, schedule pushing, some important things: 10,000 downloads per month, 10,000 push notifications per month, which is pretty solid. Looks like unlimited downloads and unlimited push notifications for the Pro Plus, dedicated account manager, etc. And then they have a reseller program where you basically you build the apps and then sell them to other people, which we're not going to focus on here. So we will get started for free. So we're going to click Build App Now. Now, I automatically give bonus points to any company that doesn't require a credit card up front. Definitely love to see that. So we are going to click Build App Now. And then you're going to see the interface kind of loads. Overall, I think the interface looks pretty solid. I mean, I love it when they have multiple menus on each side of the page. And you have your little automated chat bot here. So give your app a name. I always just call stuff Surface. So we'll click Continue. And then it's going to say Step 1. So browse through categories and find a template for your app. Most app builders allow you to kind of choose this over time or change it over time if need be. But you'll usually click it and you'll see what it looks like over here. A lot of this should be customizable. I love coffee, just like I feel like everyone should. So we'll choose a coffee shop and click Continue. Add some color. So a web address, and we'll suggest a color scheme for your app. If you don't have one, we'll just click Skip. We're not going to use one for this. Preview for your app from a smartphone. Love the ability to do this. I'm going to click Skip for now. And then save and preview your app now. So we will put in Surface a@a.com, and then we're just going to put in a generic password. So we email address already in use, not surprised. So we will try a different email and see if we can find one that people aren't already using. And then once we have that set up, it's going to say we're going to launch in 3 easy steps. So we're going to go ahead and click Get Started. And I just kind of want to show you all what the interface looks like. We're not going to go through posting, otherwise it would be an incredibly lengthy video. So we're redirected to basically the same web page. You have your little app icon up here, and then you have this little app section here. So this would essentially be your phone view, so to speak. So you have all of these options. So I love the fact that they have analytics, which is huge if you want to actually gauge the success of your app. So unfortunately, without data to report on, there's not going to be much here, but you can at least see what the views would look like. You can see your push notifications section. So basically this is someone's not using your app. You want to let everyone know, hey, we have a sale 15% off Monday only. You can choose how they get those notifications. Geofencing is awesome if you want to get people in a specific region. So you want to push to everyone in Colorado or California. Scheduling and simple notifications. And then you have customers. So it looks like they have the CMS built in. So that's kind of cool to see as well. And then marketing. So you have a couple of marketing options. So looks like this may be tied to the CMS. So we'll see you have a guide to successful app. So they have some different marketing materials and checklists here. You have your promo site. You can choose different themes. Your app description, you can actually add in your App Store URLs once you have this published. Social sharing, and then QR codes. So pretty cool functionality in the marketing section. Your dashboard itself, again, without the app having much content, we're only going to see so much. But you'll see in the dashboard, you have your app, other apps, you can actually create multiple and tie them to your account, and then all of your additional details. So we're going to click build, and then from the build screen. So you have your color palette up here in the top right. So you have basic and advanced. If you're like me and you just kind of want them to choose, then you'll see it'll have the options. So you'll see these 4 colors. You'll see where they're actually placed. So I'm going to go with something like this. And then you have your theme, which has been chosen. So let's see, we are going to save and continue and choose images. So app appearance has been updated. So you'll see this kind of like generic app screen, and this is your icon right here. And then you'll see your app icon, which you can change, which is the 1024 by 1024. And then your splash screen here, and then your header image, and then you can add in custom text as well. If we are going to go to the content section next, so maybe we want to actually change things a little bit. So we're going to click edit content. You'll see you can drag tabs into the tab bar below. So we have a couple of things we can do. You can click on preview to do your live preview of the app itself, which looks like it can take a minute, but basically you would actually be able to click on each button and make adjustments. So your theme that you chose just basically structures everything by default, but you can kind of make changes. So we will click on the, let's see, so drag tabs into the taskbar below. So it depends on what exactly you're looking to do. So we're going to add a feature. And what exactly do we want to add? So you'll see all these options. I'll kind of scroll through slowly so you can see them. So you'll see you have geo listing, Facebook events, quizzes. There's a booking site, opening a table. So we'll go to basics and find something simple. So we're going to add in directions. And then we are going to use all the defaults. We'll keep really everything as is. And then you'll see all of these options for the manage directions. So if we want to choose business location, and this is actually set by default, so we can actually just leave all of this. You'll see legal information if you need to put in a disclaimer. So when you click whatever tab you want to add, you'll see all the settings. You go through those settings and you'll click save. And then you'll see inactive tabs here. So if we want directions added in, it's designed to be drag and drop. So as you can tell, you have these 4. You can edit content and tab settings. The reason more is here is just because it's an additional option. So when you overfill this section, it'll just go into more. So let's just say we decide, you know what, we don't need rewards. Now directions is going to be there by default. But if we wanted to say, you know what, we actually need loyalty back, we'll just drop it into more. And now we can go ahead and start editing the tabs themselves. So we decide, you know what, home needs to be changed. So we can choose tab settings and change the icon, the color, image, etc., whether or not a login is required to access. And we can go to edit the content of the home page. So it tells you the details to push the brand to customers. So you have all of the options here. So you can choose what this needs to be. So we could decide that this is going to be SMS share, and then this is going to be directions, etc. We're going to make this one call us. And then we will click close. And at this point, we're going to basically try to see what exactly has happened. So when we're in the content section, we'll click on preview to see what's been done so far. So we will see in the order section, nothing's changed. The directions tab is what was added. And you'll see that by default, I'm not a huge fan of this. You'll see the pin, but it doesn't actually show you, like it shows you where you are and it shows you where the pin is, but it doesn't actually like zoom in on it. So you have the option to zoom, but it just seems not so intuitive as far as like most maps would pull up a much more zoomed in view to show you the location or your current location. But again, it's kind of a really basic thing to complain about. So if we decided we want to go to the order page and we want to edit the content here, you have all of these options, so you can make any changes that you need to. So you'll see how you can kind of change settings here, and you can go to settings. So you have same basics, select image, clear, all that fun stuff. So you can add structures by grouping tabs to unlimited levels. So you're kind of seeing how they're doing things here. So each of these essentially has, each tab has their own rules or options. So you'll see I'm on, in this cart, you'll have all of the options here for response messages and really how to make everything like these. It's almost like tabs within tabs. So basically the best way to think about using these codeless application development platforms, they have pre-built functions. Then that function is essentially a tab, a button, an option that you click, just like you would on a mobile app. And then you have to learn how to make the settings they have work for you. So let's just say you don't necessarily need an order system, but you have an idea for something that functions in a similar way. You can add an order system and then edit the content to match what you need it to do. Now, again, we can click close here. We can go to navigation. Maybe we decided, you know what, we need this to be a side menu. So we're going to have the app save, and then we're going to select the side menu and click preview and see what's changed here. So you'll see now you have this side menu pop up, and we can click on any of the buttons from here. So now, again, that changes kind of how things are functioning a little bit. Map still pops up just like it did before. And then, again, you can go through and make any other changes. So if you feel like you need to add additional features, you can click here, decide, you know what, I need to add the, let's just say, I need to add an external link. And let's just say we want this to go to google.com. And we're just going to click continue. and then it's going to appear in a web browser in line with the app. We'll click Save. And then we're going to click google.com. And then once that's all done, we will go ahead and we will basically just drop this in right here. And you'll see that this pushes the icon that was here over into More, where you now have the ability to manage that tab list. So we will go ahead and click Preview. And as this is loading, so we'll click Menu, google.com, and then it's going to say, would you like to open in your browser? You click OK. Unfortunately, it brings me to my actual browser, but we can kind of adjust those settings if we want. So we go back to Editor, and then again, we will click on this option. We'll click on the option here. And then, so this is how it's functioning in a web browser. It's supposed to show up in line with the app. You can choose it to be an external tab, so open the web page in a new browser tab outside of the app, which is what it just did basically, and then overlay browser and a pop-up rather than in line with the app. So I want to see if this behaves differently on the website. And again, this would be the reason to test on your phone so that you can see if it actually opens in the app itself. So we're going to click Preview once more and see if this still takes me to Google the same way it just did. So we'll click on the menu, and then we will click on google.com. Looks like it's doing the same thing. So you would have to test this on your phone to see how it's actually working and if it'll pull up within the application itself. So that's the basics to the AppInstitute platform. At this point, you would go to Submit App. You would choose the best plan. Again, make sure that you know the difference between monthly and annual. You would select your plan and then go through setting up your app info and then launching your app into the App Store. So I know this was super quick. Just to give you a general rating or idea, I like to rate everything once we've kind of walked through it. For a new user, I don't think I would rate this as my top platform by any means. I think it's relatively simple to use. Definitely has some solid functionality overall, but I find myself kind of struggling with this app builder compared to some others. So the two that I love to highlight, which I actually have separate reviews for earlier in this series, are AppInstitute, which I would rate as one of the highest for their ease of use, and AppGyver mainly because it's free, but it's also pretty simple to use as well. With this, it just seems like you have a menu on top of a menu on top of another menu over here, and then you have menus within the menus, and there's a lot of settings to change. So you kind of have to understand how they have these things set up. It's still relatively easy to use, but I feel like it just requires a little bit more knowledge up front with how it's laid out. So overall, again, I don't think that this is a terrible platform, and pricing is relatively affordable. I'd say to get something that has a web app, iOS, and Android app for $66 a month definitely puts it in a relatively competitive category. But again, for this price, I'd probably still go with AppInstitute, especially because you're going to have to commit to a year first. So if you're going to try this platform out, if they have features you really, really like, I would recommend going monthly, try out the basics, see if it works for you. Don't jump into a 1-year commitment, because as your application is kind of developing and you're finding out the needs of your users, the application itself is going to change. So you need to make sure that the platform uses it. And I'm by no means saying AppInstitute is the best one out there, but definitely a solid one for you to consider. So feel free to drop any questions in the comment box below, and I'll see you all in the next video.